State regime media, which calls itself Fox, was flailing yet again. They're trying to cover up Donald Trump's destruction of our economy, cover up the fact that all of Donald Trump's plans and policies are absolute failures, and Americans going into the holidays viewing Donald Trump as the least popular president in American history. So state regime media brings on Howard Lutnick and he says, "Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Look for the second quarter of 2026. That's when it's going to be amazing. Q2 2026. Forget that Donald Trump said on day one I was going to make things more affordable. It's Q2 2026 time, folks. Here, play this clip.
Look for the second quarter of 2026 to be amazing as all this money comes back into the economy from this big, beautiful bill, which really takes care of Americans. Finally, the president has the power to take care of Americans. Someone actually in the White House cares about the real people.
And then state regime media brings on the Senate Majority Leader, Senator Thune, a MAGA Republican who pretends to be a moderate Republican. And he's asked about the economy by Bret Baier. And he goes, patience. We all know that Donald Trump and the Republicans said, just be patient. It's coming right around the corner. Maybe Q2, it'll all be good for you. Q2, good for you. Here, play this clip.
So when you look at those polls, you say to those constituents, hold on?
Well, I think, yes. I mean, obviously it takes a bit of patience. These things take, there's a lag always when you move major legislation, consequential legislation like this for the American people to start to feel it. But one of the reasons we moved so quickly to do it was so that they would start experiencing it sooner. And so as you get into an election year, we're coming into an even-numbered year in 2026, I think a lot of those things that we did, the policy changes that we made, are going to start to come to fruition, and you're going to see the impact of that on the pocketbooks of the American people. They're going to start feeling it. That's my prediction.
And then more from state regime media and Howard Lutnick and state regime media. They're perplexed. How's Donald Trump going to bring down prices 600%? Doesn't that mean that the pharmaceutical companies, for example, would be paying people money to buy their drugs? Prices can't come down 600%. And then Howard Lutnick goes, that's not what he's saying. Okay. That's not what he's saying. All right. What he's saying is that if you take it down from this amount to that amount and you reverse engineer it, it's 600%. Okay. I mean, he's literally the sham. I feel like they're selling snake oil. Here, play this clip.
Well, if you cut something by 100%, the cost goes down to zero. If you cut it by 4, 5, or 600%, the drug companies are actually paying you to take their product. So it raises the question, how much of last night's speech was hyperbole and how much was fact?
No, what he's saying is you bring it, if a drug was $100 and you bring the drug down to $13, right? If you're looking at it from $13, it's down 7 times.
It's not a 600%.
Well, but it's 700% higher price before. It's down 700% now, right? So a $13 would have to go up 700% to get back to the old one. So it all depends on when you look at it. You could say it's down 87%, or you could say it would have to go up 700% to be the same one. So it just depends on what you look at it. But basically what he's saying, and we all know what he's saying, is we are hammering the price of drugs down. That's what's happening. And he's announcing it all the time. He's got more announcements even between now and the end of the year.
Then you have Greg Gutfeld, the sycophant who thinks he's funny, who's like the least funny human being out there. Like, this is what right-wing MAGA thinks pass for humor. And while they go and attack Jimmy Kimmel, Greg Gutfeld says, we don't deserve Donald. He's too good we don't deserve a man like this. We love him because he puts up plaques on the White House that look like social media posts that he makes, ranting and raving like a lunatic about former President Biden and former President Obama and former President Clinton. We don't deserve a man of this character. I mean, this is what state regime media is. It would make North Korea propaganda be envious to the degree of sycophancy, if that's even a word. Here, play this clip.
Words and deeds, right, Greg?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's petty. I think it's wrong. I'm embarrassed. I'm kidding. This is free money on the table. How hard was it to do these plaques, and how big is the payoff? It's the same with the speech last night. He does things that don't cost a dime, and they're entertaining to us. This is why we don't deserve him. See, we don't deserve this. Do you remember how boring cable television was before the 5? Do you remember that? No, you don't. You just assume it's always been this charming. No, we came in and we changed things. We did things that said, like, they can't do that. They have animals are great. They have all these weird little things going on in a news show. That makes no sense. That's what he's doing. He's saying, like, what do I do this? What if I do that? And then he does it, and it's wonderful.
More from Jesse Waters, a propagandist. And Jesse Waters says, yeah, he's just having fun. This is fun, everybody. He's having it's his own house, okay? He wants to put up on his own house, attacks on former President Obama and Biden and Clinton and put these social media posts and attach it to the White House. That's funny. I mean, weren't you all the people who were mad and enraged and made it like the top story? Former President Biden wears a tan suit. How dare he? The dignity of the White House. They were serious. They weren't like joking. Obama wears a tan suit and that was like heresy. How dare you? Donald Trump demolishes the East Wing of the White House to build a golden ballroom without any of the appropriate approvals. Donald Trump changes the name of the Kennedy Center unlawfully to the Trump Kennedy Center. Donald Trump attaches to by the way, I go into all of Donald Trump's war crimes and being a felon and being a sexual abuser and all the things that Donald Trump done. But setting that aside, Donald Trump attaches deranged social media posts to the White House and they're like, he's funny. That's humor. No, it ain't. That's bizarre behavior right here. Here, play this. It's deranged behavior. Here, play this clip.
I mean, this is a plaque.
He didn't.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear. He's having a little fun. It's his own house. He can decorate it.
It's our house.
Come on, it's just a word, Jessica. It's his own house. He lives there. He showers there. He eats there. It's his house for now. For the next 3 years. Maybe more. And so he could decorate it however he wants. Am I that upset about it? No. I'm upset about all of this fentanyl pouring into the country and you guys siding with these people.
Hey, Brett here. Allow me to interrupt for just 1 minute because I have major news that isn't getting nearly enough attention, and this may just be the biggest issue of our time. According to the Energy Information Administration, household electricity prices have risen 13% since Donald Trump took office, and experts say that this is just the beginning if current policies continue. As you all know, we've been doing these segments about the climate in our reports because, frankly, this is an issue that isn't getting talked about nearly enough. Across the country, climate pressures and the explosive growth of energy-hungry data centers are straining the grid, driving up rates and hitting families hard. The New York Times reports that rural Republicans in deep red Georgia and Virginia are now voting for Democrats for the first time because their electric bills keep climbing while their elected officials greenlight these massive AI data centers without any local input. These facilities require staggering amounts of power and water, and under Trump, the strategy has been to just accelerate data center expansion while simultaneously taking a sledgehammer to clean energy projects. That combination, growing demand and shrinking supply, pushes the costs directly onto consumers. Utilities are racing to build expensive new infrastructure, from nuclear projects to new transmission lines, and they're passing all those costs on through higher monthly bills to the people. Communities are pushing back, though. In Arizona and Indiana, citizen pressure forced Amazon and Google to abandon data center plans. Great job speaking out. In Georgia, voters flipped long-held Republican utility seats because they connected the dots between politics, climate policy, and their skyrocketing bills. But here's the main point. This issue is about to define national politics. Electricity is becoming the new price of eggs, if you will, and if leaders, regardless of political party, don't confront the impact of climate change, corporate subsidies, and unchecked AI expansion on household energy costs, this problem will only get worse. This is a crisis that is hiding in plain sight. We all see it with our own eyes, and it demands far more attention right now. So do this for me quickly. Let me know your thoughts on AI data centers, on the climate, on your electricity bills, and so on below, and let's continue to make noise. Okay, Ben, back to you.
So this is why I say Senator Thune is really a MAGA Republican and that he's not a centrist. It's the banality of evil in people like Senator Thune. The banality of evil. I mean, here's a guy whose entire career he was above the fray, and I'm a moderate, and I'm just a solution-oriented guy. And now he's asked a very basic question. So, to change the name of the Kennedy Center, it requires the House and the Senate to pass a law. So are you okay with Donald Trump just changing the website name to call it the Trump Kennedy Center and appointing his own board and then the board changing the name of it. Like, you're okay with that, Senator Thune? It's like, I'm not familiar with the process. This is new. I'm going through the process right now. I mean, could you imagine if Obama, if Biden, you can't, because it's impossible. You just have to accept that these weak, pathetic, I don't even call them men, these weak, pathetic things like Thune and Graham and all these MAGA Republicans, all they've actually wanted in their life is their own Kim Jong-un. They're so weak and pathetic as individuals that they really need someone that they can call daddy. That's what they've been searching for. Their own Kim Jong-un that they could praise as their dear leader, that they'd be willing to sacrifice everything our incredible country stands for and stood for. So they have their own Kim Jong-un and turn our country into loserville. Well, Thune, well, Graham, well, MAGA Republicans, Johnson, Comer, all these losers. This is what you wanted? What pathetic people you are. Here, play this clip.
The Kennedy Center board voted today to rename the Kennedy Center the Trump Kennedy Center. Is that going to fly up here?
I just heard about it. And so obviously we are just starting to process that announcement. They've asked me, aren't you on that board? And I'm like, well, I'm a non-voting. I'm an honorary member. I'm not a voting member of that board. We'll take a look at it for sure and see where that goes. But obviously the president is heavily invested in trying to make some of these monuments around Washington D.C. make this a better place to live and to work and to raise your families. And I think we've seen the effects of that, the results of that when it comes to the safety on our streets here in Washington, D.C. Now, I don't live here. I live in South Dakota, right, but I do work here. And I feel a lot more confident, as I think most people who work and move around here do, since the president's taken the steps that have tried to secure our streets.
But the pushback, I mean, it's not just Democrats. There'll be some Republicans that say these are historic monuments that need to be named this thing that they were named.
Right.
Otherwise, we're going to go back and forth, president to president, changing names of monuments.
Yeah, and we'll look at, because it's such a new announcement, I'm not familiar with the process of how this is done. There's a question of whether or not it's in law. Is it statutory? Do we have to change the law to do these sorts of things? And I'm sure we'll get all the answers to that in due time.
Speaking of pathetic people, then you've got MAGA Republican Senator Rick Scott, famous for being engaged in the largest Medicare, Medicaid fraud, criminal fraud, by the way, his company was involved in American history. He's the guy that the Republicans are like, who can help us with healthcare? Let's get the fraud guy, the guy who made his money doing fraud, who invoked the Fifth Amendment like 100 times during his deposition. Well, here's what Rick Scott says. Trump's done so much in 12 months, more than anybody else. Here, play this clip.
It's real what people feel. Joe Biden found that out the hard way. And so President Trump is answering back to what people say they are experiencing right now. Your take?
Well, first off, he's right. Trump inherited an absolute mess. We're losing full-time jobs. We're only adding part-time jobs. We had unbelievable inflation, the highest in my lifetime. Wages were not set up with inflation. And Trump's done unbelievably in his first 11 months. Wages are up. Inflation's coming down. He's bringing American jobs back. He's very focused on Americans getting good paying jobs. Gas prices are down, which is the biggest driver of inflation. That's coming down. He's putting America first. So I think he has a lot to brag about, but he's got a lot of work to do. We did get the biggest tax cut done, but we have a lot of work to do. Biden left us a mess. We've got to get this budget balanced to completely get rid of inflation. We've got a lot of work left to do.
Then state regime media brings in Monica Crowley. She used to be a TV host, and now she's an ambassador. Ambassador Monica Crowley. Donald Trump is so precise and detailed oriented. Dude, Donald Trump is running around like a maniac. He's the least precise, least detailed. He doesn't even know where he is in a given day. Here, play this clip.
We know the president doesn't like to sleep. That's not what he does. But he also loves to produce. So how is it getting a phone call from him about every little detail about celebrating America?
Well, he is probably the most precise, detail-oriented president we have ever had in every respect. When it comes to policy, when it comes to planning, certainly this event. This means so much to him personally, as it does to every single American. And I don't know, some of us might remember 1976 and the bicentennial. We may not remember the details of every bit of that, but we remember how we felt. And so what we are planning with Freedom 250 is this massive, monumental celebration that President Trump promised back in his first term, a celebration that really creates that feeling of a renewal of pride and patriotism and the American pioneering
And he also has an arch.
And then you have Fox and Friends in the morning still talking about Donald Trump's disastrous national address. Oh, he was great. It was a wonderful address. The American people loved it. This is what we love about him. Here, play this clip.
Harris, what'd you think of the address last night?
Well, first of all, he hit on all the things that people need to hear and how it's going to get better. We all know how we got here. That's why that man and his friend Kamala Harris are not in the White House. Like, we get that. And he reminded everybody of that, the high inflation, that was important to do. But what I think he did that was most important last night is carve out the future based on his policies. People have a lot of confidence in his policies. That's also what ushered him into office. And of course, the border crisis, which he's already won on.
And finally, they think it's helpful to gaslight the American people. Howard Lutnick saying so many prices are down. Gas is down. This is down. Everything is coming down. Here, play this clip.
I see so many great things. I see gas coming down, oil coming down, grocery prices coming down. All these good things are happening, but yet I see consumer confidence has taken a pretty significant hit this year. It's down about 16% since President Trump took office. What do you see as that disconnect? Why are things going so well in so many areas, but yet consumer confidence is taking such a hit?
Well, that's why we got to have people watch Fox so they actually get the truth rather than the fake news.
Well, there you have it, folks. Let me know so pathetic. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. We appreciate you.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.